I should have laid my baby hairs down. It's okay. I can do it on the live as we progress. I got on live, baby.
I got on live.
Hey, y'all.
Baby.
So, I'm getting baby now.
Black man can't.
No.
Hashtag black man can't.
Now, you knew I was getting on
Do
the live,
nothing.
and you about to sing a whole performance. Now, when I want him to do karaoke, he don't want to.
Lady, baby, why you gonna walk in the back of a moving
I'm on
car?
live. All right, hey everybody, how y'all doing? It is Wednesday, which is Sisters Wednesday, and today I am going live with my very best friends from childhood, like literally from, I don't know, we'll tell the story. It'll be like 13 or 14 years old. Anyway, we've had
They've held each
over
other down.
20 years of friendship,
Them boys messed around.
and
Love
so
lies,
baby
what?
now.
Okay, I'm moving on. This is my errand time. You supposed to be at the house.
No, here's the thing. So when he's on live, I leave him alone. And he'll say, baby, I want you in my live. When I'm on live, what do you do, baby?
I don't leave you alone, and I try to be in your live.
You always be in my live.
Again, I am self-aware, and I am okay with my actions.
Somebody said this singing. Someone said sing, bro.
Exactly. Thank you, Black Man Can.
So,
Hashtag that one.
So I wanted to hop on here because I wanted to do, first of all, a preface to say, or preface. How do you say it? Preface? Preface. I wanted to preface this by saying that, my two best friends from high school, we have been through everything. We've been through everything together, and we wanted to have a conversation. Jessica is a licensed therapist, so she has several offices in the South Florida area. She has been my therapist. Now, with my awareness, our entire friendship, she's been my therapist. So I wanted to hop on here because, one, it's important for me. I value real sisterhood. I value real friendship, and it looks different at different stages of life. And in my late 30s, we have gone through so many different phases and but we still are best friends, and it looks different every time. So they have children, they have had life situations come up. I have moved 3,000 miles away. So all of that has happened. And so we just wanted to, it was Jessica's idea, who is the therapist, because of her understanding. She wants to share vulnerability and understanding Black women and Black sisterhood and what that looks like. So they're gonna hop on in a second. I'm gonna look at these comments for a few minutes before. Oh, Jessica has already requested. Of course, she is type A personality. Here we go. We getting started a little early. Jessica is hopping on. You guys, this is from the perspective of my best friends, but also a licensed therapist.
I've been screaming the whole time. I'm like, let me in. I'm on time.
You're before time. I had to give your credentials. I had to hype you up real quick.
Oh my God. I'm like trying to get my little stick, and I'm like, it's coming.
So, you guys, this is Jessica. How long have you been practicing? How long have you been practicing?
Oh my God, 13 years. 13 years. I've been in private practice for nine. Have two other therapists that work with me who are amazing. And I'm super excited because I'm doing this whole week on vulnerability as Black women, as Black men, and also in friendship. So I asked my best friend not a fan, if she would come on with me, and our other friend, I don't know if Sharif requested to be on. Okay.
All right, so Sharif coming on as well. Sharif works in corporate America. I'm not going to share all her details. It's very private. And so the dynamics of our relationship is very interesting because you have me, who I'm like...
Why is it echoing? Do you hear the echo?
Is it?
Oh.
Let me turn it down.
Okay.
Is it bad?
No, it's better now.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, happy birthday. So to let you know, we're in different cities. We have different perspectives. We have different lifestyles, and we have friend groups outside of this core group that we have built together. So I'm just gonna let you know. I'm gonna let Jessica take over. But we're gonna get into the nitty gritty about vulnerability and sisterhood and what that looks like for us.
Yeah, so we've been friends over 20 plus years, and just think about vulnerability, which is completely letting the guard down and letting the mask off. And I just wanted us to come on here to sort of talk about our friendship. Some of the key things that happen in vulnerability is you have lack of communication, there's trust issues, growing apart, and also like neglecting the friendship. So I guess my question to all of us would be like, how do we make it? Like KJ, how do you think we made it 20 plus years? We met in actually I met Sharif in elementary school, but KJ, I met you in ninth grade. So what do you think?
I think intentionality. I think we've all been very intentional about growing together. And I think at some point it becomes a habit, right? So like, I feel like at some point we were like, you're such a huge part of my life that I don't want, it's like codependent, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't want to not be friends. I don't want to not see you. I do not want to not talk on the phone with you. And then it becomes a choice because, the older we get, the more our lives change and the more our lives kind of pull us apart.
Yeah.
So then it's like, okay, now we have to be really specific. Like, okay, what's going on that I can attend? When can I come in town to visit? When can I see the kids? When is there an opportunity for us all to be in the same city together? And we had to really make a choice and book the flights and, be very specific because Sharif go out of town like every day. Okay.
Pretty much.
I go out of town like every day. Like we're always out of town. So it's like, okay, this is going to be the day we're together. This is going to be the day that we are together in each other's presence. And even if it's a family thing, we find those moments to have our girl time.
Yeah.
Which are my favorite.
Yeah, we were literally just talking on FaceTime before we jumped on live. We're like, all right, we got to get off.
Yeah. And to add on to that though, I think, 3 things kind of like rule our friendship, and that's like love, trust, and respect. Like we really do love, trust, and respect each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I would just say, like, we met in high school, so our high school version of self is very different than who we presently are. And I think being able to skip school together in high school and we actually lived together. KJ and I lived together. KJ and Sharif lived together, which people are like, oh, you never lived with your best friends. We lived together and had no issue. I got married early, right after college. Sharif had a baby right after college, and KJ sort of like started exploring, your career that you're in now. So there's been so many different stages. And honestly, I would say just starting now, like maybe within the last year, we had to have some real conversations, some vulnerable conversations, because life just looked different for all of us. Yeah. And I think, because we do have love and respect, we just had to make that decision like, hey, you rubbed me the wrong way. As a therapist, I'm always like, oh, how do we come together and make it better? I think I was in the middle of you and Sharif, when you all had your little thing, and I'm like, all right, we're all going to get on the phone and we're going to figure this thing out. Because it was a choice, at this point, we can choose who we want to be connected to and who we don't want to. Yeah. Yeah.
But I also, I think too, when you decide we're going to be together forever, the option to like let things fall by the wayside or apologize, everything just is a lot more clear. So it's not worth losing my friendship. It's not worth being right. None of that, because it's like, okay, let's talk it out. Okay, she mad, but we'll get back together. Like, we're going to get right back. It'll be fine. Or I'm mad. but we're gonna get right back. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's not an option at this point.
Yeah.
I honestly
if it ever was.
take it like if y'all say something or do something to me, I don't take it personal. I don't take it in offense. I don't think you're saying something or doing something to ever hurt me. You know, it could be your truth and I respect that space. You know, I'm going to listen to it, but I don't ever run from it because it's not I know it's not coming from a hurtful place, like ever.
No,
I trust that it's not coming from a hurtful place, you know?
Yeah.
And KJ and I just had a moment. We were talking about it earlier today on the phone of how Sharif is such the nurturer and like the mother of the group. So we rely on her heavily to do everything. She cleans for us, she cooks for us, she spoils us real bad. And there was a moment, I don't even know, real bad, you know, but there was a moment where I think Sharif was going through something and she like shut down and like KJ and I were like, ooh. All right, like, have you noticed? What do we do? And like, we came to her, we were like, hey, we're your friends. We love you. Like, we're so used to you playing a certain role that sometimes we miss when you might be going through something. So we want you to talk to us. We want, you know, us to be your soft space when you're going through something. And Sheree, I mean, she was very appreciative, but once again, that was a very vulnerable moment in our friendship because we're just so used to each other playing a role. I'm the anxious one. I'm the like, no, everything has to be together. KJ is like, I'm gonna tell you like it is. You know, this is what it is and what. Sheree is like, I'm gonna go in the corner and I'm gonna clean. I'm gonna like cook. I'm gonna like make sure everything's in order. And it's been working for 20 years.
Don't do me like that.
It works.
It works. It really does. It really does work. And again, I think Sheree hit the nail on the head too. The baseline is love. It's always love there. There was a time, but now remember, there was a time when Sheree would keep it funky with us, and we would be like, we would be like, hold on a minute. I didn't ask for the truth.
Right.
I asked for you to enable me. I asked for you to enable me, and you didn't do that. So now,
Kate and I we'll enable each other all day. Like, it's like, oh, you love it. I like it. It doesn't matter. Oh, can I tell that story? Oh, it don't matter.
I'm like, don't call me.
We are ride or die. Like, if we need to get in the car to pull up, we get in the car and pull up.
Oh,
that's
my
all
God.
That's all I'm saying.
So
Sheree,
many situations.
Yeah.
I have to say this though. I have to say this. In college, I'll never forget the time, you know, I'm dating someone and he calls me and he's like, hey, call your friends and check on them. KJ and Jessica are like in some bushes. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, they're like hiding in some bushes. And I call y'all and y'all are like, girl, we see your man. And I'm like, bitch, we see you too. And y'all are like, oh, damn, we gotta come out the bush.
Yo.
That's how we rolled in high school. Now we've all been to therapy, even myself as a therapist, and we have evolved and have grown to a place to where we can have a little bit more.
Now we're still like, you need me to fly out there? You need me to fly to you?
Oh,
like,
for sure.
It's true. No, it's true.
For sure.
It's true. It's like the stakes are higher though. It's like the stuff that's happening the stakes are just way higher. Like y'all, you know, the buying homes and the kids and the like all that stuff, jobs and all that stuff is just so, the stakes are just so much higher. And so we're having to think outside of our usual box for solutions. I mean, I feel like that.
Yeah.
And even when I'm trying to offer advice, I'm like, I'm having to be like, I don't know the answer to this one, you know? And I feel like sometimes I want to know because I feel like that's my job as a best friend, but I think I would be failing y'all if I was like, oh yeah, this is what you should do. You should do this. Like, I don't know about, you know, signing a child up for college or, you know, any of that. I don't know nothing about that. But I'm not versed.
But you know what, something I learned from you actually that I use with my clients, and I don't know how this came about, but one thing that you always ask is, how can I support you? Like, no matter how crazy it is or how outlandish it is, like that's your go-to is like, what can I do to support you in this moment? And I think that's such a takeaway, you know, that anybody can use across the board, regardless of what the situation is. because we all receive support in different ways. You know, you might support me by just listening. You know, somebody else might want support by, okay, well, what would you do in this situation? So I think just reading the temperature to see, okay, what does my friend need? And if I don't know, how can I ask, you know?
Yeah, we're good at that. I do love that. I love that we've added that to our repertoire of friendship.
Yeah.
Because when you can't physically be there for a person all the time, you have to expand and you have to ask what the need is. I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
for sure.
y'all ask me all the time, and sometimes there is no solution. We just gotta wait it out together. And I'll call crying for 2 days or 3 days or whatever the case may be, you know, because that's what I need.
Yeah, and I think it's important that we can also hold space for each other. You know, it takes a certain level of capacity to be able to hold space for someone else outside of yourself. So I think that we've also been able to figure that part out. You know, like, how can I create this space for my friend when she's having a moment, even though I might be having my own moment? And I think we do that very well, you know, bouncing off like, okay, this is what's going on with me. All right, what's going on with you? We do that all the time. Like, there's not one person that gets to sort of like tell their story or tell their drama without like inquiring about the other person. So I think that's something that's helpful.
Oh, someone asked a question.
Oh, let's get to questions. Yes.
Oh, yeah. What do you do if you have a toxic friend, like in the group?
Ooh.
What if one of the group members is
then
one of the friend groups? You know?
Are they really your friend?
And you know what? I feel like, honestly, what are your non-negotiables, right? So somebody can be toxic, but they can also be adding a value that might make sense to keep them around. So I think it has to be a question for self, like, okay, yes, this person is toxic, but are they adding something else to the table that keeps them around? Or am I just keeping them around because it's familiar, it's history? Maybe I'm toxic, so our toxicity, you know, is a bond that we share together. So I think it just has to be some self-reflective questions of the why. Like, why is this person still allowed in my space?
I think that's a very therapist answer. Because I'm like,
for real?
Thank you.
I was like, but you toxic. You toxic. You welcome in toxicity. You matching energy.
I'm out here. I gotta fight corporate America, traffic. I'm raising a teenager. I'm not dealing with that. Like,
No.
There's a reason why the friend's around. If it was that easy, then why would the friend even be around? You know, so I'm always like, the why. Why is this person still able to be around in your space?
Yeah, I think when I notice it, they gotta go.
I'm very patient. I'm patient with toxic personalities for sure. They would have to really break a deal with me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it has to be on some broken trust or something. But, you know, I'm very patient with toxic because also I myself have been toxic before. You know what I mean? I remember I had my victimized stage where everything was woe is me and I'm going through this and I'm broke and I'm sad and I'm hurt and I'm broken hearted and blah blah blah, and I was the toxic person. So I have since been able to be like, oh, okay, let me see what's going on around. Like, but if it's consistent, so let's say for instance somebody loses their job, I'm gonna have the grace to be patient with your toxicity, at least for a little while, you know, because you're going through something. But I mean, we talking a year or two. Nah, I ain't gonna be putting up with the BS now. That's a bit too much. Now you gotta go. But because I've been toxic before, I'm a lot more patient with people when they're toxic. You know, so long as it's not a deal breaker. Now, if you stealing from me, if that's your toxic trait, then you gotta go. If you cuss me out or being physical with me, you gotta go. But if you are seeking validation or you do stuff to seek validation in public, or if you kind of get jealous or possessive with your friendships, okay, I understand. Or if you got triggers and you get touchy about certain words and certain experiences, then okay, I can understand that. But if you're doing like some deal breaker stuff, like just backstabbing, then we can't rectify that at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so another question. How do you navigate your friendships that expand years, even decades, when you go from high school, college, young adults, like during this time, it's like, it's ride or die. We are one. It's one band, one sound. We pull up together. We do everything together. We tell each other everything. We help each other craft text messages, what our breakups or responses to our boyfriends. And you go from that to now I'm in a marriage, or for Kay who is engaged. And it's like, now I'm an adult and I'm a woman, and now I have this man that I will be clinging to, and becoming one with him. And now this is my one band, one sound. How do you navigate in a respectful way, to make him feel like my friends are not in this marriage, but your friends aren't feeling like you're leaving your friendship for your marriage?
That's good. I'm gonna let y'all answer that because I just got mine. You know what I'm saying? I just got mine.
What?
You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
and I bring this up because my therapist and I have talked about this, and she said something very valuable. She's like, you and your friends, like, you give them something that their significant other could never give them, and their significant other gives them something that you will never be able to give them, and that's okay. The roles y'all play is two separate roles, and you can coexist, in your own roles. And when you love and respect and trust your friends, when they're making the best decisions for them, and you allow them to do their thing, and they come to you when they need to, and you play your role, when it's there. You don't intersect yourself, or interject yourself into someone else, because she's now an adult.
And I feel like you all did that very well. I was married for 10 years when I got married, 24. That's really young today. Yeah. And I feel like, when I got married, because I feel like I was the first one to do the marriage and the kids, and it was sort of like a respectful distance. Like, we didn't have to talk about it, but I think there was like a mutual understanding. Okay, she's choosing to live her life this way, and we're still here, but not too far away. So just going through that experience, I don't feel like it was a huge transition. Now, I don't know if you all felt like I was being neglectful. That's something we've never talked about. But for me, I felt like
it was. It was. I mean,
you came down, friend. We locked you in the room.
You moved to a whole city, different city. Like, it was a lot for me.
Yeah.
I had a problem. I mean, I had to deal with it, but I definitely had a problem.
Yeah.
I never
you hang out with, because like I lived
nobody.
She moved
I was alone.
Yeah.
I was alone. I felt abandoned. You were gone. Both of y'all were gone. Like
we both had our own separate families.
Yeah. And I think we went through a spirituality. Yeah, we went through a spirituality thing, because at the time I was really, really into the church and, living that life. And you were going through your own spiritual journey of trying to figure out, where you landed. So I think that could have easily have been like, okay, girl, you don't believe this? All right, I don't know what you got going on, because I'm real into the church, real heavy.
Yeah.
But fortunately, we were able to navigate that part as well. That sticks out for me a lot when we sort of went through that part.
For sure, because I was like, I think I was listening to like rap music or something, and you were like, "Oh,
we do
music you listen to." You were like, "Oh," and I was like, "Girl, you don't listen to
Nah, we are playing over here, okay?"
I was like, "Girl, like, she wasn't listening to nothing," which I understand and I respected that. But it was just such a drastic change, and it was so like, for
identity
me,
crisis.
And this was now, you got to mind you, this was before I started acting. So you're the one. So Jessica's the one who coined the phrase "save the drama for the TV."
Yeah, I did.
So before I started acting,
look at you getting paid now. Getting paid for all the drama.
And no, exactly. I'm like, and I remember that. I'm always like, I save the drama for the TV. You got to pay me to be dramatic. You got to pay me. You know what I'm saying? You got to pay me to cry, because it's, but you taught me that. And this was before I was in my career. So I was seeking things to make me happy. I was seeking things to bring me joy. Sharif had Alana, and you had started your family, and I hadn't. essentially nothing. I had no career path. I had no nothing. And so you guys had started your careers. You had started, I think, because this was after graduate school, right?
Yeah.
So I was a mess. I was a mess. So I had a hard time to answer that question. I know we gotta go to the next one. To answer that question, I was a mess. I was a mess without my sister circle, and I did not know how to communicate at the time. I did not know how to be clear about my emotions. I did not even have a grasp on who I was. So it was a mess. But Cherie and Jessica are both type A personalities. I think all of us have our type A moments, but they're both type A personalities. So they both look like they just had it together. Like everything was just was picture perfect. And I was like,
and the look was great.
Lies. And I was like, to me, I was like wading in the water, and they were literally just like, you know, I wouldn't say Stepford wives because you guys were bosses, you know, and our bosses. But you guys were like so solid. You looked so solid. And I was like mush, if that makes any sense.
And
look at you now.
Is that when you like did the trip to LA with literally a bag and nothing else?
And I went with Cherie to LA. Thank God.
We were supposed to just go for the weekend and visit a friend.
And you went and never came back.
And she was like, I want to stay. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. That's exactly what happened. I was like, I'm never coming back. So Cherie is the reason why. First of all, both of y'all are the reason why I'm even in this field and doing this right now. That's period. So anybody listening, your circle they can affect what you do with your life. They are the ones who kept forcing me to find the thing I'm good at because I could not figure it out. I was completely lost. And Cherie is certainly the reason why I'm in LA. And Jessica is how I have my sanity because I was losing it. Okay.
Hey guys,
my bad. We want to do another question.
There was a high schooler. There was a high schooler in the box that asked the question. She said, "I'm in high school. How do I decipher who's my real friend or not?" And I think that's so important because as adults, you know, you're more sound once you live life. But for some of the younger people that may be on here, like, what would you say to your younger self about how to determine who's your friend or not so that you can have those friends that are going to be with you for a lifetime?
You know what? Well, the therapist is coming out, and and you know, I feel like relationships across the board, you got to check in to see how that person makes you feel. Like every interaction, there should be an emotional response. Like, do they make you feel good? Things that make you feel good, you want more of. Do they make you feel insecure? Things that make you feel insecure, you want to shy away. You know, do they make you feel on edge or like, you know, just not easy? But a lot of times we're not connected to our own feelings. So when I ask, well, how do you feel? People are like, I don't know. I'm okay. No, like for real, you know, like replay that scenario, replay that interaction. How do you feel about that? And if it feels good, you attract. You know, if it's feeling kind of funny, then you got questions. You know, is
someone else just
compatible?
Posted saying, you know, do they tell you the truth? And I think that's really important. Like in high school, like, do you have friends that you think like tell you the truth? Like when they're bringing you gossip or drama, like, can you trust them? You know, because it happens, right? You're gonna talk, you're gonna gossip. There's gonna be drama in high school, but the ones that you're around, like, I think that's important to ask yourself, like, are they truthful? Can I trust them?
I will say, I'm gonna chime in here. Jessica and Sharif are to a fault, and that's what you want in friendship. You want that honesty, you know. And what I've learned is honesty doesn't have to be brutal. So if they're being honest with you and it's not brutal, if it's honesty and love, then that's your real friend. But and you have to honor that with yourself. You have to, like I said with Cherie, I would be like, she would tell us the truth. Like we would have game nights and we would invite all these people, and she would be like, those people are not your friends. And we were like, what?
But they are friends.
Y'all even call people to this day. Y'all ain't seen them
so offended. And we would just be like, Cherie, like, what is your problem? And she was right. They weren't. you know what I mean? But we didn't want to hear that at the time. And now I'm so grateful for it, because now I know that I don't have to associate with people who are not my friends, because I have a core group. I don't need more friends. It's nice to align with people who are dope and who are on the same wavelength as you, and who, you know, God brings into your life and you know what's going on. But we used to value quantity over quality. We wanted to be everybody. We wanted to bring everyone in the fold and have everybody over to our house. We wanted to do the thing.
Oh,
and
Lord.
why? What are you doing?
Right.
Go ahead.
No, and I think it has to be a balance, because I think we're more sociable than Sharif, honestly. So we can go out there and sort of navigate and then like hide away and don't want to talk to nobody. So I think that it has to be a balance of like, okay, well, what is your intention? Is this a surface level gathering where it might be a game night? Poetry, we used to do a lot of poetry nights. Or is this like more of an intimate setting, like where I want to sit and like have intellectual conversations or vulnerabilities and transparency? So I think it just really depends on like the intention behind it.
I'm going to all those things, and I'm gonna sit in the corner.
Yeah.
And we honor that about Sharif. So if we all go to a party, Jessica and I are gonna be on the dance floor. Jessica gonna be on the dance floor.
I'm gonna be twerking. Yes, I do.
Jessica is a twerking therapist, and it's okay.
Sure
She's a therapist twerk, so let's talk about it. She's a cool therapist. Okay, let's talk about it.
Real down to earth.
I'm gonna be mingling. I'm gonna be kikiing, like, hey, who are you? What's your name? How you doing? Where you from? Like, I'm gonna be trying to get to know people. I'm very social in that way. And Sharia is gonna be in the corner. She'll do a little ditty to her favorite song, and she'll sit down and fall asleep and take a nap at a club.
And you know, I want to bring up, and I think as friends, we respect each other. Like, we know to give enough space for each person to do their thing. Because some friends are like, girl, you don't do this. And like, they would feel some type of way. You know, with Sheree being in the corner, would try to drag her into our space and energy. But everybody is different. You know, Sheree could be embarrassed that I'm on the floor twerking in front of people and be like, oh my God, why would you do that? You know, you're a therapist and this and that. So I think we are able to create enough space for our differences, but we could still be together and have an amazing time. We just don't bother nobody.
That's true. People don't really like, you know, when people, especially with the show we're on, people want everyone to be the same way. But the thing that makes friendship work are the different. Like, I would honestly say that Jessica and I are more similar, but we
for sure.
Very different in a lot of ways. Like, even this phone call, she like called me this morning.
I had an emergency.
She called me back, and then we got on FaceTime before the call.
I have an emergency code for my best friend. Like, if I call her a certain amount of times, it's like 911, stop what you're doing, because I'm like rolling over. So she was about to get that call for the damn live.
Yes. She was like, are you ready? Are you ready? I said, yeah, it's just alive.
She was at the Minute Clinic like 10 minutes before, and I was like, you're supposed to be home with a nice background. All of your fans are going to be on here. And she was like, I'm about to be in the car. And I'm like, all right.
Girl, in the live. That's where I'm going to be at. Well, we gotta wrap it up here. I want to do one more question.
Jessica, why don't you lead the last question?
The last question.
I'm not the therapist. I was taking over. I was like, girl, if you don't get back in your lane.
Who?
The leader. Sharif.
Oh, okay. So I would want to, I guess, sort of close with, you know, the steps that people can take to be more vulnerable in friendships. Like, if we were going to say, okay, these are like maybe steps to consider, or if you're interested in it, because I think vulnerability creates a deeper level of intimacy. So for people that are wanting to know, okay, like, what is something that I can do in my friendship or even any relationship to be more vulnerable? Like, what would a first step be?
Go to therapy, work on yourself. I think with any relationship, when you work on yourself, you bring the best version of yourself to other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't y'all like me now that I've gone to therapy?
Yes.
Listen, we be trying to call your therapist and be like, do we need to talk?
Now, who the fuck?
Miss Carol. Miss Carol.
Ooh.
She advice because I'm grateful.
See, guys, go to therapy. It will help your friendships, your relationships, help you be a better parent, employee. Go to therapy.
Go to therapy. Yeah.
So
yeah.
is therapy a lifelong thing, or are you supposed to graduate? Like, how does that work?
So I'll speak for my clients, and I haven't taken
I'm still under the weather.
No, it's okay. I haven't taken any clients under my group practice. I like to do life with my clients because I feel like life is really big, you know, and once you find that connection and you trust, you know, that person to sort of navigate you through life, that's how I work. Now, I also know therapists that they're more like solution focused. So you come in, you've got a problem, you know, this is your treatment plan. Once that problem is done, then, you know, goodbye. And I'll see you when you have the next problem. So I just really think it depends on the type of person that you are and what it is that you need. I love connecting. I love people. So me and my clients were locked in like 8 years strong going. And I was like, we're going to be in until the day I retire. Now,
tell our brother
it's not consistent. You know, they come in and come
I love
out.
that.
So, yeah.
All right.
I like to do
All right,
with my
so
clients.
let me ask y'all this because we want to make this a series, you know. So what we're going to do this again. We got to hop off right now. This was fun.
It was.
Love the comments. We're gonna come with the questions ready on the next go round too, because we want to really get to y'all's questions, and we're gonna do this again, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Of course. We do.
Okay. Don't worry about following Sharif because her joint private. That ain't gonna happen. You can follow Jessica.
My business is open. Yes. Yes. Yes.
She's gonna be, you know, sharing a lot of tips and tricks when it comes to just living this life. She does one-on-one consultation. She's not taking any clients right now, but she's doing one-on-one consultations for anybody who needs therapy.
But your other therapists are taking
also.
Go ahead. I train therapists, so I have therapists who work for me. So what you see here is what you're going to get over there. So yes, I do have therapists who are taking clients.
Yes. So she has her own therapists who are taking clients. So reach out if you need help, if you need a therapist. You know, I'm actually working with one of her therapists right now for couples counseling, and it's amazing. It's changing everything. Like, we just love it. It's making our relationship even stronger than it already is. But anyway, that's shameless plug, and that's bestie period. So all right, we're gonna get off. Love y'all.
And we're gonna call each other on FaceTime.
Yes.
Y'all answer the phone.
Yeah, and we're gonna get back to FaceTime. So we can finish our own private conversation. I'm gonna post on the page if y'all want to check it out later.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.